Oh, yeah. Oh, let's get ready now. Come on. Come on down to CRT TV. Let's go RGB. Come on, don't you modify a CRT with me. I got this cute little silver Sony. Gotta go RGB with it, baby. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, making me so horny. And I don't know where to go from there. So, let's cut it down. Welcome in, everybody. I don't know what you just fell into this lovely Wednesday morning, but we're ready to get groovy here and jump into a CRT RGB mod. So I hope you're ready for that. And if you want to, you could just go back and relive the last 45 seconds on repeat if you loved it so much, you know. So what have I got for you today? I've got this little lovely Sony right here. It's in the title. It is a BA5 chassis, the KV-13FM12. This is a 13-incher. Let's get you some light up in here, everybody. Ooh, yeah, look at that thing. This glorious little TV. I'll show you a couple of cool features on it before we go ahead and look at what I've done so far. Yeah, thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming in. I'm glad you all could make it today. I really appreciate your time. And we will get started. So, this lovely little Sony TV has a couple of cool features. Maybe the coolest, sneakiest little feature is this side door. Lovely little side door here. This is hides a video input. So it's got a composite video input in here, as well as a mono audio connection right there. You can see right by my thumb, just barely. And then there's the menu buttons, and then a mono audio headphone jack, because this TV only has one speaker on the other side, right here. It's an awesome Trinitron, 4x3, flat screen. So it's one of the later ones. Silver on silver. So you have the lighter colored silver and then the darker colored silver around the bezels, or off the bezel. I'm going to turn it around here. And yeah, it's already torn apart because I've already been working on it. I really like the design. I'm not going to get too close to it. We're not going to dive too much into this part, but I just want to show you first things first. This is the back side. Here's that one speaker. Nice big hunky speaker there. The boards go in under here. We have our deflection yoke, which is a pretty beefy deflection yoke for this small of a television. You got an external like cable that's similar to the degaussing cable right here. That's a ring around, not the rosy, but the deflection yoke, to try to help balance purity, probably some more. And then you have the ground straps. Over here there is connection cables for your, this is the degausser. This is a ground connection. This connection goes to this smaller degausser. And then these connections go to the main board, where they communicate with that extra input board. And then there's a button board on the side up front. H board, which you can see has our power button, our remote control IR, and just our volume and our video input select. So this is an awesome TV, and you can still find these on the streets. You can still find these on the streets of America, folks. I think the person who got this got it for less than 50 bucks. I know many people have found them 60 bucks or less. That's an all-day payday, baby. You need to grab that stuff. Get groovy with it. If you hear some snoring in the background, it is my friend Cole. If he comes over here and says hello, I'll grab him and show him to you. But he's my pug. So if you hear that, that's what it is. So anyway, it's been torn down. It works. It just has composite video input, though. So I've got all this new camera set up, and we're going to put it right here on the grill. Okay, so I'm going to show you kind of what we need to first do. First off, before we do that, we should go and check out our resources. Check out our resources. So first, let me turn off our, actually, we're gonna go off with the music now, guys. So we might bring back some music later, but for now, we're gonna get into it. A bunch of people say they got these for free at estate sales and stuff. That is awesome. They obviously have a remote. They have a service menu built into them. There are, again, different models that have much more features. You might find one with, pardon me, component or S-Video, I know. I'm not really sure. I haven't seen one with component. I have seen plans for one with a S-Video input. This one doesn't have that. So we're going to go over, let me check this out. We've got Sector Sunthar. Let's go. How about this one? Okay, this is perfect, I think. All right, so this is straight on the books here. This is where you can go and get a lot of great information for RGB mods. If you create a profile, you can unlock even more information. So I would suggest you do that. You don't actually have to, pay anything or really input much information besides a email address. And then you can get access to even more modifiable information. So there are tons. If you go in here to Sector Sunthar, I mean, you'll obviously find some CRT mod videos. Some of those I've actually made. That's cool. Some other people have made them. Where if we go to just this hyperlink up top, moddable, to start, it takes you to a page, and you can see everything is documented. This is real nice up here. We're in RGB now, but you can even click on component mod information, S-Video mods, composite mods. There's nothing really there for that, but as other ones do. Cole, chew a bone for a second, buddy. You are snoring too loud. Sorry, the dog really snores. So what we're going to do is we're going to type our model in, which is this KV-13FM12. And if you search it, it's going to pull up just this first quick snapshot that shows you the MUX diagram. This is what we're doing today. We're doing the MUX diagram. Now, if you were like a super genius, you could probably figure everything out from just that MUX diagram. You could download this diagram. But if you want even more information, you can go over here and you can click for the mod guide, and it's going to give us the whole mod guide. This TV has the BA5 chassis, which is shared between it and all these other models right here. So all that means is there's a slight variation to these boards. So some of the things we see in this guide may actually be a little bit different than what we see on our boards, considering what we are going to go through. Now, don't be intimidated by this. There's, the best thing you can do if you walk into one of these is just do as much research as you possibly can before trying to actually do the mod. So make sure you look at this and you kind of understand what's going on as far as the MUX diagram. Because if we look at it a little bit closer here, we've got a jungle chip over here that's on the TV, okay? And so is this OSD chip. These are physically on the TV, and these numbers right here are the pins that are being accessed to do this modification. So what we're doing is we're looking at this signal, and it's basically showing you the path between these two chips and the way the RGB and the blanking signals communicate, so that you can tap into those and hide, kind of like pirate your own little input here on the SCART connector. You can send that signal in past this side of the diodes, And what you'll do is you'll trick this. So what happens is this chip, when you tell this chip to do something, this chip, like when you tell your TV to change volume, you'll see the volume scale on the front of the TV, and you'll see it as you press up or down, it'll move left or right. Well, what you're actually doing is when you press that volume control, it's this OSD chip all of a sudden sends in the blanking R, G, and B, overlapping your image. They're actually sending that text over top of your image that you see on the TV, and it's telling you the volume controls. So what you're essentially doing is, and that's how this communicates, like it's the one sending the menu over top of what you see on your display. So what you're doing is you're hijacking that path, and you're saying, okay, tell it to send in its information, but we're going to, instead of sending in the volume, we're going to send in the picture that we want through the SCART connector, and we're going to send in high resolution video, and we're going to hijack that RGB input. And that's how it works. I hope that's not too difficult to kind of grasp, but that's how these mods work. This particular one shows us that we need some 75 ohm termination. We have some 1000 ohm resistors that we need to put on for our audio. And then we need a 1.2 K ohm resistance for our blanking signal, so that won't be too strong because the blanking signal needs to be dampened if it's coming from the see, it's coming from this. You'll be sending in like 5 volts, and we need to get that down to an acceptable range for the jungle chip, so we're not sending too much voltage into the jungle chip from our SCART connector. We want to send the right amount so it doesn't damage the jungle chip or the OSD, but the OSD has a diode protecting it. Okay, I know that's like tech terms, right? We're getting all tech and nerdy in here. I'm sorry about that. All right, we're going to get on to our actual guide, and this is when we'll actually start seeing some stuff. This is the board. Thankfully, we don't have to modify much on our main board. We can get it on this kind of connection card right here. This is the MB board. So it connects in the side of this, and I'm going to show you all this with my board actually that I have right here. In a second, we're going to switch over to that. But if we look at these plans, and I'm sorry they're jumping all over the place. It's not the easiest to shuffle through. This is the point where RGB is going in. And then over here, blanking can go in. So this is what we have to connect conductors to, or cables from our kit. We have to do that. We also have to modify this board a little bit. First off, we need to look at one more spot down here. Now we're going to need to remove these 3 resistors on this one. It's R1085, 1086, and I can't remember what that third one is, but it's right there, and it's marked. And I've already done this portion, so you'll get to see this close up. And then the next step after we remove the resistors is we need to remove some jumpers, install 3 diodes, and then you can install your conductors on top of the diodes for red, green, and blue. And finally connect the rest of the conductors. So I'm going to show you where we are as far as this goes, and then we're going to get going. The next thing we'll do after that is we'll look at the SCART connection kit too that we have to build, because I have not built that at all. So let's look at that, what we just saw there, in more practical terms. I'm going to pull this thing right over here. Get it all lined up and ready. There we go. Get some light.
And here we are. So this is the MB board. Okay? It's marked right there. You can see that on your screen. Just right there. And it connects through this port and then this port to the main board right there. And we're going to look at the work I've done so far, and we may redo something. But if we look over here, oh, I apologize. Here we go. I'm going to show you this portion down here. We're going to zoom in. We should be able to zoom in here. Okay, let's zoom in. See how close we get and how much we can. Okay, there we go. Maybe that's as close as we can get, need to get. So, if we look at this portion down here, these 3 resistors have to be removed. So I've already done just that and cleaned it. This one, and then there's one right here. That's the C, sorry. Right here is a resistor, and then finally right here is a resistor. So you got 1, 2, 3. You have to remove those 3 first off. Have to do it to get this mod to work. Okay? And then over here, this is to the blanking line which we saw in the guide. Let me get that fixed up. Sorry guys, I've got a new camera here and I'm trying to figure out all the controls on it. It's on manual focus because if I turn to autofocus, the lens jumps. It's a lot. I haven't exactly got it all figured out. So there we go. So there's that blanking line, so you have to solder that into place. Okay? There's the blanking. And then up here, I had to remove 3 jumper wires that were there and then install these 3 diodes. So I know it doesn't look like that's actually been done. Let me see if I can turn that down a little bit so you can see a little bit better. But if you look right, there's 3, so you remove the solder and remove these 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Pull those out, and then you can install these diodes right here. Okay? And then you want the direction of the diodes to flow that way. See how the dark mark on the diode is this way? And then we're going to install the conductors for each color on past the diode so that it can only go into the jungle chip, which is right here. It's that jungle chip on that plan we just saw. And so this that's what I've done so far. Okay, I removed those parts. I installed these 3 diodes. I've installed these conductors on each one of these. And then we still have to install these other wires on our main board, which is right here next to that. Let me zoom out. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so we've got the main board then here too. And we're going to actually install those other conductors towards the back here, where the input is. So we'll do that, but first we're going to do something that'll actually fit a little bit better in the camera, and that's the mod kit. So we'll finish those conductors up in a second. Put that out of the way. And then let's take a quick look at this mod kit. Echo.
2 mics. Maybe something got left on. I apologize.
Let's see.
Oh, something did.
I had doubt on it.
Sorry, guys. I apologize about that because, yeah, there was a bad echo there probably for the first. Golly, that's probably going to ruin the stream. Anyway, if you come to this point, I think we got it fixed now. All right. So, this is our kit we're going to use. Revision C. See that? It says right here, Revision C. And, we're going to populate it with resistors. And all these resistors are on the guide for your kit. if you do this. So let's go back here. We'll look at what we need to do. Okay. The guide kit or the guide page has this. A build your own mux kit. So we're going to do this. And this is our little board here that we're doing. Sorry about that, guys. So that's what we're going to be working on. Let's go back here. So I need to put parts in here. Parts that I have right here. So first off, we need an additional, let's go ahead and put this diode in. I want to make sure I put this in the right direction too. So we need to put a diode in for the R9, which is just to prevent, I believe, the backflow of that mux mod. So this should, let's look over here. I'm looking, I'll show you what I'm looking at. I'm looking at like other examples of people installing this mod board. Looks to me like this needs to go towards the top. So get in here, switch that around. So we're going to go R9 and have the diode pointing towards the top of the board. So we'll do that. Looks ugly. Try to get that a little bit better. A little bit more even. All right. That didn't help too much. Sometimes you bend these parts and they just get stuck in their spot. It's okay though. This ain't about looking perfect. It's about working. So there we go. We'll just leave that one there for that. And then we've got to get some resistors. So these are some 1K Mouser resistors. 1K ohm. 1K ohm. So these need to go on like everything. We've got audio and video lines, and honestly, we're probably gonna have to use this for another line too. So if we go back over here to our guide, where are we at? So we're looking for, if we look at the RGB, so R5, 4, and 6 are 1K ohm. Left from right audio are 1K ohm. So that's 5 1Ks right there. And then we're going to leave R10 open. Now, I don't have a 1.2K ohm, so what we're going to do is we're going to set all these in, and then we're going to make a 1.2K ohm right here. That's what we're going to do. Okay. That's what we're going to do. So just try to bend these guys so that they don't look too awful. So there's 8, 7, and you got to watch these. There's 4, 5, and 6. So there's no, it doesn't matter what direction you put these resistors in. There's not like a flow path for these. They'll go either way. So there's first one. That actually looks way better than what I did before. So we'll do that a few more times, 4 more times. Then we'll probably solder these in, and then we will move to the others, because I don't want to make it too tight. I don't want to make it too tight back here and have to solder all these at one time. But you could do it that way if you like to. If you like to solder everything at once. Okay. I should have left the... Man, I bet that disco song I sang sounded terrible when the... dual mics. But this is a whole new setup, as you guys know. If you watched the last stream I did with Kaitor, you know we're getting things changed up here. This is the first stream I'm doing by myself. So hey, I got a $5 super chat from Flight 116. Thank you very much. Question: do you know of any CRT repair shops in Broward, Florida area? Ooh. I have a 32-inch flat screen CRT Toshiba, which is working or isn't working. I'm sorry. First off, I do not know anybody in Broward, Florida. I appreciate your super chat. I have, there are some people that like actually work on CRTs as far as kind of as a hobby down in Florida. There's a few guys on our Discord, so you can check that out if you're, that's actually exclusive for Patreon people. But if you go on there, there's a couple of guys on there that are in Florida. But I don't know of an actual specific shop that's trustworthy enough to actually work on a CRT and repair it if it's broken. And unfortunately, sometimes, unless it's super special to you, that exact one, you may want to try to just find a replacement eventually, or hey, learn to work on these things yourself. There's still quite a few of those flat screens around right now, CRTs. I'm located in Virginia, and obviously something that's 32 inches has to travel a long way to get here. Okay, I've probably done something wrong here. Let's make sure I haven't. Yeah, I put something in R10, which was wrong, and R11. So I was chatting. This is my problem. This is one of my problems. I chat and then I forget what I'm doing. So that's why I always have to double check all my work. Okay, we've got, I know these are right, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Seven and 8 now. There we go. So that leaves 1, 2, 3 for our 75 ohms. And then here's our diode in R9. This one's going to be left open. And then this one needs the 1.2K. So we can make 1.2K. We can do it. I have the 75 ohmers right there. But we can make a 1.2K. Okay, let's clear up some space for ourselves here first. And we're going to go ahead and start to solder this bad boy a little bit, and we'll get rid of some of these legs just to clear some space on this board. Since we know we've done all that right, and then I'll show you. We're going to install a SCART port on this board also. Time to solder. We probably should turn on a little jazz here. I mean, it's not, you know, I've already screwed this thing up so bad with the with what I've done so far. Do 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 do. I find it really also quite so I have this account that has music on it, and I've saved some playlists, but I gotta be honest with you, the website's rechanged their website around, and I can't find, like, they've changed it to where I can't find what, oh, there it is, saved, thankfully. I don't know why it's so hard to make things user-friendly anymore. Okay. There we go. If that becomes distracting, please feel free to let me know and I'll remove it. So I've got my iron heated up here to 750. I'm just going to introduce some heat and solder down here first. And I'm going to let you inhale the solder fumes because I won't. I'm sitting far away. But maybe the camera lens can take them. Ooh, there you go, a little smoke. Oh, baby, there we go. Okay. All right, so then let's just go ahead and clip all these legs down on the other side. Cut a leg off. Another leg. And there we go. Should take the solder a little easier now that we've got shorter legs on it. Iron cable's getting tangled up. Now, very cool, Arani, working on a CRT. I'm watching this. So, yeah, let me know if you guys. I do have a fume extractor. I'm not using it right now because I didn't want to add the noise. But there's a window right here, and there's not really that many fumes coming off. I'm not doing a whole heck of a lot of soldering here. And like I said, it's going to you guys, not me. So you better have the PPE or the... Make sure your camera doesn't, or your video screen doesn't have solder vision. Right? Just kidding. So, get rid of these other legs. Oh, hello. There we go. Trash all this stuff. Oh yeah. I don't know what you guys prefer, right? There's a whole audience out there that prefers to hear stuff like mouth breathing or I don't know what other ASMR while they solder. I just generally put on the jazz music. Most of the time. Okay. Sometimes I'll go through and just quickly touch up the solder. On the end that I cut. Of course, you want to make sure you don't push the component leg through the hole the other side. Flip her over, take a look. Everything's good on here. We're going to install a port here also, and then our SCART right there. And let's go ahead now, shove in these 375 ohms, and we will come up with a solution for this 1.2K ohm. I'm going to keep one of these to the side. One of those. Hey, thanks, JB. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for showing up. And appreciating the CRT and how to work on them. And of course, being patient with me to try to work through this. All right, 3 of these. 75 ohms, which again, these are very common resistors that you can easily find. Sometimes I order them individually. Other times I've gotten things like this, which is just a generic resistor kit, which has 20 resistors of each value. So if you don't do like a ton of solder work, or you just want to have like a good solder stock, this is cool. It's a little book. See? Look. Let me show you guys this. I thought this was really cool. So it's just like a book. Tells you each value right there, and you just take apart as you need it. So, anyway. We'll use some of these in a second. So I have my 375 ohms, and we can go R1, 2, and 3 here. And this is tying each one of those colors to ground. If you're curious what we're actually installing right now, this is just the termination between a color signal and ground for 75 ohm termination. So when you hear that, you're like, what does that mean? Well, this is what's going on. We're terminating, we're adding a resistor to ground to tune that signal termination on it to 75 ohms. All right, we're getting there. Okay, that leaves us Not much. See if we can get a little closer. Well, I guess just because something can go closer doesn't mean it can actually focus closer. Okay. Apologize if I'm making you dizzy here. There we go. All right, I'm going to be redundant and do the same thing I did before. I'm going to clip these. And then clip these. The unsoldered ends. And I'm doing this with this hot solder iron in my hands. Look at me go. No wonder none of my stuff works. I probably hit it with a hot soldering iron when I don't even realize it. Beautiful little solder joints. Look at those beautiful little solder joints. Welds, whatever you want to call them. Happy little solder joints is what I call them. Happy little solder joints. Okay, we're actually getting this kit about done. So we're gonna go right over here. We're gonna create our final resistor. Now I got two options here. We can go we can add 220 ohms, which I think I might try first. I don't really want to add two 100 ohm guys. I think that if we go to, it's a 1.2K, so I think if we go 1.22K, we shouldn't be, we shouldn't have any issues. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to tie these in series, because we're just making just basically making a proper value resistor here. Okay. So just set those right there. Get those corners close together. And then I'll cut them in a minute, but could get something fancy out to hold these things, but we've only got this one weld to make. So let's see if we can't do this without causing trouble. Do it without causing trouble, Steve. Come on, you can get down in there and do it. Do it. There you go. You hear the alarm bell ringing. That means the solder tip is hot. That's good. That is beautiful. Look at that. Didn't breathe in any fumes. Good quality weld there. So definitely want to make sure everything's good here. And we're going to install this guy over here in R11, but it's going to protrude out, and I don't want it to short. So I'm going to go get a little thing of heat shrink tubing to put on there. And really, before I do that, let's test this and see what we get for a reading. gonna put this on the old multimeter. What's up? What's up, everybody? Thank you again for coming. If you're enjoying the relaxing stream, I would appreciate a like. Will help people come in. Maybe they'll come in late since hopefully the quality's better on the stream. They could skip the beginning. They could skip that whole travesty, that whole fiasco at the beginning. Malfunction. All right, so I'm gonna hook a probe to each side of this like that, and then I'm gonna show you what the meter says. Look at that. What are we looking for? 1.2K? We got 1.218K. Okay? That's what we're going to go for. We're going to go 1.2. That's what we're going to do. That's so close. We're going to go for that. That's within any tolerance. Going to go get the heat shrink tubing. I'll be right back. I'll switch over to this. Let's go get it. All right, here we go. Shrink tubing. Nice kit here. Let's see what piece we need. The smallest. The smallest. So we'll just cover it up a little bit. We don't need much of this. Give me that much. Put this over it. And look at this. We're gonna go old school here. I'm gonna go real old school. Look at that. Fire! We're gonna fire it up. Yeah. There you go. Ooh, baby. So there we have our 1.2K resistor. We're going to get this down in R11. I mean, it better be R11. Let me... Yes. Just want to make absolutely sure. And R10 is left open. And... Oof. Don't tell me I should have done that a little differently. There we go. So, I'm gonna do it like that. There we go. I'll show you what it looks like when I've got it locked in here. All right, come on, iron. Get hot. Okay. All right. Now we have our big boy. See that? That should be fine. No problems there. That won't short out against anything. I mean, it really won't, but... So we're going to install just something right here. These ports aren't used. Here's our SCART. Let's see, where's that other? Where's the important part? Interesting. There it is. And the good thing about this one is it has the same diodes that you use on this board is the same ones that you replace on the main board that I showed you at the beginning. So it's the same. You only have to get one single diode for this. All right. So there's a key notch on this thing up top. Goes right in there. So that you have that plugged in. You also want to make sure you go on that side, not this side where there's nothing on the back there. So just stick that in there like that. Just like that. We'll give it a little something else to sit on. Then we can just tack in the corners first. There we go. Now it's pretty solid, but we're going to obviously go and attach the rest of them so you don't have to worry about so much moving around that port moving around anymore. Let's get centered. Let's get this nice and centered. So this TV's not mine, it's a customer's. So hopefully this all works out well. I'm excited to see it. I've never actually RGB modded this one. I've done other 13-inch Sonys that were bubble screen, or the one side is curved on the Trinitron. But I've never done a flat screen one, believe it or not. I just want to make sure that, you know, nothing's bridged. It definitely isn't, but there we go. We'll check it out. Now, we're going to need to install our SCART port right here, which is this. And we're going to want to go this orientation like this. Make sure everything's in there. A couple of these pins are bent. That will happen. They're pretty flimsy. A couple of these went too far in. There we go. How about that beautiful? Oh, beautiful sight right there. 21 pin salute. 21 pin salute. Same thing. We're going to have to solder every one of these. I think you probably don't have to solder all these because you're not using all 21 pins, but I do it. I do it for the people and the practice, you know. All right, I promise. I'll get back to chat here in a second if there's anything going on there. There we go. Oh, why? 27S35. Yeah, that's a good size to RGB Mod. Those big ones are nice. And the good news is we can not clean this to test it. Now, before I install it permanently, I'm going to use rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, and clean the flux off these boards. But for testing purposes, you don't have to worry about cleaning everything, because if something's wrong, we may have to come in here and do some more stuff to something, which has happened on other jobs before. You could probably pay somebody to make this kit for you on Sunthar's website. Go ahead and pre-build it for you. I'm not sure. I've gotten to the point now where I have a couple hundred of these boards in stock here, and I just make them individually each time for the RGB mods I perform in-house. Man, that looks good. Okay. Finish up here. Reflow everything again. Okay. Okie dokie. All right. All right, so that's our kit right there. Let me get this C-Sync. So we have to use C-Sync. There we go. Now, everything's good on the kit. That's it. That's all we have to do for this thing. Is that. Okay. So now we can get back to working on the main board. Let's see, this one is $300 to do this. All the parts like this. Flux is inside the actual solder. It's rosin core, so it has flux built into the core of the solder. So when you're doing that, you don't need to use flux for this type of a situation where you're using new metal on new metal. So yeah, and that's a reduced rate, the $300 for this mod, because then I have to go through. I'm not going to do all this on camera, but I will have to mount the mod SCART inside here professionally. So I'm going to have to spend an hour cutting the plastic up, and then I'm going to do a little bit of extra work on the chassis, which will be separate from the mod. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to back that thing up a little bit. And go a little higher. A little angled, maybe. And we'll see. Not really sure I'm digging this whole setup as of yet, because just not liking the way this camera's focus has not been good today. We'll just try to leave it a little bit further back, because I feel like that focus looks a little better. Okay, here's our board again. Our board again. So we've got RGB and blanking installed. We need to come in back over here and install audio left and right. And then, so we have audio left and right, and a couple of audio grounds, These two are ground cables. This orange one's a ground cable. And then this yellow one's our sync, video sync. So we're going to tap that into the composite video on the back input of the TV right here. That's where we're going to send in that signal. And I want this to all look okay. So what we're going to do is actually, I'm going to send, I'm going to send these cables that are coming down here. Let's do the video sync first. And so this will go like through here. If I can get them through these holes. Okay, there we go. It should be fine. Want it under that? Yeah, probably. So just have to make sure the cable's not wrapped around a bunch of stuff. So this board clips into here. Which way? This way, clips into here. Like this. So we need these cables to come over. So we need these cables to come like over here. And well, we probably want to go under this ground cable right here just because we don't want to hang it over it. And then into these holes down here. So we'll do that, and then we'll go with the video in the first hole like that. You can take this awkward mess of wires like that. Send it through this hole. Do you have the time to listen to me whine? Okay. This is like frustrating, brothers and sisters. There we go. Okay. Problem is you got to keep like all these cables together because they're not really removable on this TV, so it's kind of awkward. All right, we're gonna need to connect the yellow to the composite video. Let's see. To find that, I'm gonna use my meter. And I'm gonna put it on continuity mode, so it's gonna beep whenever I actually find what I'm looking for. So that's what I'm looking for. That's beeping because that's the it's not the ground. Okay, so that's the ground. So this is a ground. This is a ground right here. This is our video in, or our yellow. We're going to touch the yellow here. We're going to touch the orange right here. We'll prep this a little bit by adding some fresh solder to these points. Again, this, which you could do there, but just go ahead and attach it here. Who cares? Be a little bit more stable. So do like that. Look at that. Oh, move too quick. Hands too quick. Hang on. Get back over there. Sometimes if you move stuff too hot, you know, or move while it's hot, right? It's not gonna... Gotta cool down first. Okay, perfect. So, that's good, right? Then, come over here and come over here and we'll hit this ground with a little solder. So what's really going to happen here is we're going to have a few more grounds, 2 more grounds after this. Now I'll try to use different points than this, but everything's on a ground loop in these TVs. Sure, I like that. Like, that's not pretty enough. We'll see. We're gonna just leave that for now. Let's find out which one is the audio now. I believe it's gonna be this one. Yeah. So this is a ground right here. Oops, sorry. This is a ground, and then this is our audio. So that's what we're gonna do. We only have one audio, so we're gonna tie the left and right audio together, and then we're going to throw the grounds in here. So we got to tie the audios together. Goodness gracious, this is so awkward. Like, ugh, working on these consumer TVs, so awkward. Okay. I'm gonna follow the same path. Go through another hole here. We got, let's see, this is left and right audio, grays and white, as I remember, right? White is left, right is gray. And again, we're using mono audio, so we're going to tie these two together. I may actually have to... Oh, goodness, that's going to be tight. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to actually tap this. I'm going to heat this up a little bit, add a little solder to the tip of my iron, and then I'm just going to do that so that those meld into one, like that, and that's it for now. So we've got this routed over through here. That's what I want. I want this to follow kind of the same footsteps as the last thing, so we'll put it, not the exact same port. We're going to put this one through here, and then we'll put the 2 grounds through this. Don't need them to be too long. Take the bundles. Ugh. So awkward. I just hope nothing gets pinched. Okay, that's better. Can go like under there like that and hit that thing. So we're gonna go under here and solder to this point right here. To that. Can you see that? Yeah, you can't. You can't. You've got to. There we go. Okay. I was trying to get a little bit better view for you, but it's kind of difficult. I'm going to stick this guy under the orange. Connect it down here to the audio. Right there. So, you just come in here. Do that. Should be free to let go. There we go. Look at that beautiful. Look at that beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing right there. Okay. Now we can go ground up here. And I think this is probably a ground point right here. So what we'll do is we'll go first. Black ground cable will come up here. Go under everything again. And we're going to solder it to this point up top. Just like that. Oh yeah. Just like that. You want a fresh solder? Some fresh solder? Do you want some fresh solder? There we go. Yes, you do. There you go. So just like that, we've got everything except our last ground. And it should be good. There we go. We've got one more ground. Still using my meter. What I want to see is this ground. Yeah. So that's a common ground. So we're going to hit that secondary ground. So we're going to, you know, we're going to keep our ground loop rolling. And this guy can go under everything else. And sit right next to, that makes sense, purple right up next to the gold. In between the black and the white, get the JMU colors. Perfect. There we go. We will let this heat up. Go ahead and do that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. There we go. Okay. Well, that's really everything. So we've got a ground, and a ground. Sync, audio, and then to protect that, I'm going to eventually use some hot glue, but let me get some tape before we do the glue. So I'm going to tape this down just to keep it from catching on anything. I'm not going to leave the tape there. What I'll do is I'll come in and use everybody's favorite hot glue. If this works, I'll hot glue it together. Or I'll put a dab of glue there to hold the... keep them from moving. But for now, we can just do this. And protect it from moving. I don't have probably a video for the M42. I'm not sure. If you go to my channel and you do the search, I'm not honestly, I wish I knew every one off the top of my head I've done, but I've done a lot of them. And I'm not exactly sure which models I have or have not, which I've documented. I've done a lot of like 13-inch documented ones, so maybe that's the one you're looking for. All right, here's our cabling. I gotta get all this situated so I don't damage anything. MB board just snaps right into these two things right here. Oh, interesting. Okay. Beautiful. Interesting. So I got this silly this is a silly, like, oh, this is the, yeah, there's a attached, I got it tangled up pretty bad in this cable. This cable is for the, oh, actually I can do that. Excellent. So this cable's for the CRT socket board, or the neck board right here. Gosh, it's a little bit tangled in it, which isn't good, really. But I can't. Can I remove that? No. Awesome. It's a permanently attached cable. Right? And that doesn't have a. See right here? This is a bundle that doesn't have a removal. Ew. Okay. All right, so we're going to reinstall this chassis now. It doesn't matter. That's not going to prevent me from testing it. So red, green, and blue are good. I just got to make sure nothing comes off. Let's go to our other view. Switch back to our main view. We'll see. So, let's move it in here and see what happens. Turn my soldering iron off for a second. Here we go. Just gonna flop this back like every cable comes back and hits me, not the tube. Yeah, we got communication breakdown. All right, we got one more. Where do you go? Up here? Two more. All right, let's reference some photographs from earlier so I make sure I don't plug this up incorrectly. So this cable goes up to the deflection yoke. Thankfully, I looked. Fine, goes right in there. Well, that happened. This goes to the yoke. Or not, sorry, the yoke. This goes from the yoke-ish area to the... Both of these go to the neck board when it gets put on here. And this one is the only one left. Goes around here. It's a headphones. Which the headphones looks like it's 3 cables. Maybe the headphone output is stereo audio. Here we go. Are you ready? We are getting so close now. Can't believe I did that. Just have to move that over here. Super long conductors. All right. Connect the ground cable. Then there's this. Needs to go up here. Way. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, there we go. All right. This is a big moment here. So everything's plugged up. Make sure that's still connected correctly. Yeah. Oh, I forgot my audio. I forgot my speaker. Yup. Right back here towards the middle. Interesting. You may be able to add a second speaker to this. Because it looks like there's populated parts on the board. I'm just not sure that... I mean, there's spots for it. So there's definitely ones with 2 speakers. All right. That should be everything. Take this. Do this. Now we've got our connected SCART port to our TV. Let's turn it around. Okay. We got a big moment here. We'll see if it works. First, I want to just turn the TV on and see if it comes on normally. Then we'll send in RGB. All right, here goes nothing. Everybody hold on. Hold on. This is our test to see if we screwed anything up first off. Press the power button. I'm waiting. There we go. Well, that's not good. Oh, there we go. Interesting. Something's not right because our menu's gone. Let's see what happens when we send in RGB. So we're going to go over, turn that video mode on. This makes me nervous. I don't think I did something right. I can hear the volume. All right, something's not right. Well, something wasn't right. Because I can hear the audio. I've got stuff on the screen. Okay. Well, maybe I didn't. Let me turn it off and see about. Let's see if we unplug this. If the videos will show up. No. Okay. Well. Before I go and give up, I'm going to check and make sure that I didn't forget some step. At least I don't have smoke. Yeah, I've not damaged it because it's still working, but let's go over here and see what it says. Let's see what it says about the mod. Now, see, this is where you get to this different stuff where it starts like telling you this thing, and it's trying to send you over here to connect your ground over here or to your stuff to something over here on the S-Video link. Honestly, the orange ground doesn't need to be done. I don't think, maybe there's something wrong with the blanking. It's always possible. Is there anything we need to do with the remote control on the TV getting into the cert? No. Interesting. So, well, I don't really see anything else. Yeah, we removed all the resistors. We did everything according to the thing. It's got to be something with the... I mean, that looks pretty straight. Sometimes this will get bent. Sometimes this connector will get bent and you'll have the wrong stuff shooting down the wrong lines, but I don't think that's it. Let me refer to my pictures and make sure that everything's been put back together correctly. So, let's all just chill out and see what happens. If I can get this to work. If I can get this puppy to work. Let's see. What did I miss? There's those connections. Here's one. Did I knock something loose? No, that's all good. Interesting. Let's see. It's so wild. Well, let's see. Here we go. Turn her off. And take her apart again, because something's not right. There is a little thing on the inside. It's just an adapter. Okay. All right, well. Seems like pretty much the right idea here. That we didn't get it to work today. Let's see. It's the difficult part about RGB mods, in all honesty. A lot of times they don't work, at least not the first couple times. They're very much do at your own risk. Sometimes they don't. I mean, I'm sure it's something small here, but we followed the guide exactly. All right, we got our boards out. We got our boards out. What a disappointment. Let's see what went wrong. So, yeah, I don't know, because it's actually interesting. This should be fine, right? Yeah. It's okay. Ground, sync. None of that's like shorting. And that has nothing, this part right here has nothing to do with the, nothing to do with the mux, because that's all over on this board. So let's look at this board again, this MB board. Let's look at this MB board, because not sure. I'm gonna go back to the guide. Okay, we're gonna go back to the guide. If we look at our kit, first off, I don't think anything's wrong with that. This thing wasn't even working without the kit installed, so I don't think that's the problem. Looking at this thing. And everything's right on here. Okay, we know it's not that. AM431. I had to go on OSH Park, and just order the boards. If you go on to Sector Sunthar, you can get the plans to just order a large set of the boards from them. OSH Park. They sell boards. All right, so this stuff we're not doing, right? What's going on here? It's not a sync issue. It's the stupid OSD's gone. So now that remove the following components: the MB board. There's the blanking spot. Do I have it on the wrong? I might have it on the wrong blanking spot, maybe. I don't know. Goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. Stop that. I don't know. That's what I hate about these pictures. Let's see. The blanking is on the inside. Blanking is on C0178 under the 7 and 8. And that's where I'm hooked into. I'll show you. That's where I'm connected to, right there, right below the 7 and 8 with the brown cable. And then down here, I showed you the resistors that were removed. And there's not even any solder left on those pads. Nothing's bridged or anything. It's so weird. I mean, there's the 3 parts gone. Well, what are you supposed to do when, like, it just doesn't work? What do you do when it just doesn't work? What do you do? This is always like the story of a stream. We're gonna check this red, green, and blue setup next. We're remove the following RGB resistors. I already did that. 104, 1085, 1886. Remove. And so let me show you this next picture. Here's the right here's the 3 I put into jumpers. I put into 3 diodes just like that. They're pointing, you notice the diodes are pointing towards the jungle trip, like the black mark on them. That's the way I've set all mine. They're pointing towards the jungle chip. Right there. Yeah, goodbye if you have to go. I understand. I'm sorry. So there's my 3. There's my 3 right here. Diodes. They're all pointing towards that. Nothing's bridged. If it were bridged, the red, green, and blue would act funny. You know? So, we will connect it again. What was going in here? This is a data connection. I'm going to plug it back in one more time. Maybe something like this wasn't connected properly, but I doubt it. Ugh, this is disgusting. Anyway, if I don't plug in the mod kit, it shouldn't matter. Let's see. Go back over here. Looks like I worked for nothing today so far. All right, I'm gonna just take a couple look at, just take a look at back. Make sure I'm plugging everything in right. Oh, see, that's going there. Man, wonder if anything came disconnected up here. No? Awesome. Maybe don't mod your TV then. Yes, sir. Okay. All right. Power it on, see if anything changes. Wonder if anything's shorting out, like, against each other. I don't see anything. Goodness gracious. All right. We're going for it again. Without the mod kit installed, or without plugged in. Well, that's crazy. All right, we're going to have to remove the whole mod. We're going to have to remove the whole mod now. All the work we just did on that main board. So, okay. We'll remove it, see if it fixes the TV. If it doesn't, I'm going to sign off today and cry myself to sleep. Because I think that it told me to remove a resistor that maybe I wasn't supposed to. Maybe like it's a different model, later model on the service board. And like removing that resistor, one of those resistors may have just ruined the, or not ruined it. Because what I can do is I can always go back and reinstall a 680 ohm resistor in those places. But there's a couple of TVs that I've done a lot that, you know, are good for RGB mods. So it's like, well, you know, those are good. But these, every time I try like a new TV that I've never done before, there's always something. It never goes exactly how it's supposed to. I don't often talk about it because I'm not like live streaming, but this is quite common. There's a cut like the Toshibas. Now, if you have a Toshiba AF, that's one of the flat screens. Those are rock solid. Those mod up perfectly every time. The older Sonys mod up perfectly every time. But some of these models, I just think it's like weird. They're just too digital. This is not going to be great because, like, there's not a lot I can do that would change things, I don't think. We'll just go ahead and remove it. This whole stream may become lost internet here soon. Because I don't know if it doesn't... if this doesn't work, considering how bad the beginning was, I'll probably take the stream down. So you may be the only people to see this. Anybody who's watching this live, I'm very tempted to just take the whole stream down after today. But there's the blanking line out. And we'll remove the red, green, and blue lines, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's not going to sync to anything. Gosh. All right, red, green, and blue removed. Well, I guess, yeah, every silver lining. You can untangle the cables, but I'm not even reinstalling the cables, obviously, if it doesn't work. Because then I'll have to go back and figure out why it doesn't like me. Why, oh why do you not like me, TV? The only reason I might leave the stream up is if somebody magically comes to the stream and says, "Oh my gosh, you missed this part, Steve." That would be like the only way I'd probably leave it up. Because maybe somebody will say that. Here we go. We'll remove all that. Now the mod, it's like it was never here. Got all this stuff out of the way. There goes bye-bye. And we'll see what happens. I'm kidding. I don't usually take it down. I'm just a little perturbed at the moment. A little annoyed. This is precisely why you should not... This is why you shouldn't become a CRT repairman. Look at all this. I'm not going to get paid for this. And even if I do, I've lost money. I've worked on it so long, I've lost my money. I'll be making minimum wage. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up. To be CRT repair, guys. Just kidding. Okie dokie. Here we go. All right, we're gonna give her one try here. We're gonna try here for it. We're gonna try here. Yeah, I usually don't even mess with muxes anymore. I just wanted to try it here today, so maybe mux switches. Muxless mods are really stupid anyway, honestly, or switchless mods. The better ones have the switches. Never been really a fan of the switchless ones. How are you supposed to send in your Mister signal successfully? It's very painful. All right, let's see. I'm not seeing anything. No. Well, folks, this guide has taught you how to kill your OSD. So I have to go back and now figure out what happened to the OSD, because this mod's turned it off completely and ruined it. There's no OSD anymore. Wow. Let's do this. Let's unplug it. We'll look at this one board, because that's where it's coming from, right here. The only thing I could think is if a solder blob dropped over here somewhere and it's causing a short, or something's bent. I mean, there's a big blob up here, but I didn't even do that. Oh, maybe I did do that. No, I don't think I did, but it's pretty hideous. I'm not seeing anything obvious here. Well, let's see. I don't know. I mean, there's a big blob of crap on this, but I didn't do it. Like, from me. So I know it must have been there before, so I'm not really anticipating that'll fix it, but I gotta basically try. See, how dumb is this? Like, you can't even take this board out by itself. You have to take this board, permanently attached to the neck board, and it's just permanently attached to the main board. So just to look at this one board, I have to take the whole board out, unless I want to desolder stuff. It's when they stopped getting user-friendly here, folks. Early 2000s, stuff really stopped being user-friendly here. So I haven't even done any, like, capacitor work or anything. Let's see. Let me show you what I'm looking at. This thing is hideous. I have no idea. Well, I didn't see this before. I didn't do it. So right here, it's like a big solder glob. This part looks like melted, and then there's stuff over here. And I didn't solder this part right here. So I don't know. It looks like it's supposed to be like connected over there. But the part also looks melted. Which I don't get. Yeah, I don't know. That part looks damaged. And maybe that's it. Maybe it did get damaged. But I didn't like come over and even touch this part with any kind of solder or anything. Let's see what happens when I... See, all that's even on the same circuit though anyway, so it's supposed to be soldered together right on that plate. I'm just absolutely dumbfounded. I'm not seeing anything else. I haven't done any other work to the board at all. And I don't think what I just did is going to make any difference. That's supposed to be some kind of inductor. So that inductor's burnt, I guess. Some kind of like burn off inductor. What's up, everybody? I'm gonna come hang out in the chat for a minute because this is it's been a rather disappointing afternoon for me. I hope everybody else got to have a good laugh and view of struggles of a CRT repairman. But RGB mods are risky. Because, yeah, that's not good. I mean, the whole darn, oh, I hate that. All right. Here we go. We're here in the most depressing stream in the world. We have no OSD. We have killed the OSD. All right. Well, you did get to see a first here, folks. This is a first. I've never had this happen before. But it looks like somehow this mod has killed the OSD today. So, I don't know what's going to happen now. This one is going to go on the... Steve's probably not going to mod one of these till he gets one of his own list and actually figures out what the heck's going on. I might have to just buy this one from the customer. Very disappointed. Very shocked. If anybody sees anything that happened today, I would gladly appreciate your opinion on what might be wrong, but it's okay. I think that something just must have gone wrong. During the installation. Because I'm not really seeing anything. I followed these directions. I've read them 6 times before I even just started. So, there you have it. If you guys have any questions or anything you want to talk about, I'll hang out for a couple more minutes. Otherwise, I'm going to get off here and go drink a bottle of wine. Well, I'm glad. The problem is I have like 20 YouTube videos from the last 20 repairs that I just don't have time. I mean, it sucks, guys. I don't have time to do anything anymore. I hate to complain about this. I'm just in one of those moods after this didn't work, but I have like, I'm sitting on God knows how many episodes that like I just don't have the time. I've been trying to like go with the business and work on the CRTs, and so that's what I was hopeful, like maybe get some more content done here with the live streams, but it's always a risk when you don't know what's going on. The grease, yes, okay, so that's dielectric grease. So you can get those from your auto parts store, and you just put a little bit on your anode cap, and that will help seal out any contaminants from getting under the cap and interfering with your spark. What are you asking about, Sincere? Arc? Oh. Actually, I do have an EDTV. Alex was asking about, do I remember EDTVs? I have one. I have a Samsung. It's a flat screen, and it's a super flat. It's pretty good. I never got to lag test it yet. It's probably got lag. The site I'm working right now is the Sunthar one. Sunthar's website, which is sector.sunthar.com. Yeah. So that's another problem. I will go on a little bit of a gripe here. That's a problem with a lot of these guides. Is you do have one good guide if you happen to have the exact monitor or TV that's the person made this guide for. Otherwise you'll like, you are looking at a lot of things here that may not be good. Because what the heck, I mean, we did this. We removed these 3 resistors. We did that. We installed our RGB after it. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm confused. Maybe there's something going on with blanking not going to the JC. Seems to be the case. But I didn't even do anything to the blanking line on the TV, which is what kind of gives me a headache, because I didn't actually, like, when I went through and you're not really even doing anything on here, like, to the right. What all I did was I installed diodes. I installed diodes on the RGB lines, which has nothing to do with the blanking lines. I installed RGB. I removed these resistors on the RGB lines, and that's all I did. That's all I did. So I didn't even touch the blanking line, except for I added the resistor and the diode on the SCART board, which something's messed up on this TV. Damn. Well, yeah, I think something is going on where it's just not clicking. Because there's nothing, like, I did not do anything to the what are you talking about, voltage divider, Nicholas? What are we talking about? We said, gosh, again, guys, you saw what I did today. Here's the problem, looks like, okay? This is a big, huge, fatty, boom, boom diet. I mean, that's what I think's broken. Yeah, we already did that unknown. Here's the issue. Like, you see this, I'm circling it right here on the screen. Okay, let me see if I can zoom in. Where's view? Zoom. It's going to be a little shaky. So, when I was telling you a piece looked like it was busted, it's this. It's this big chungus right here. This stupid big chungus inductor. Like, it's basically flat, chopped off. And I don't know if that could have happened when I was moving the damn boards around, like trying to put the mod in. Could have just cracked off or something, and that's preventing us. I mean, the funny thing here is this thing probably works. It's just now this diode. That's the only visible thing I see broken is this stupid diode. So, I'll have to, I mean, I'll have to go and see if I can find this frickin' diode. Or not diode, it's an inductor. Because it's an L on the board. And see if replacing that works. And this is not going to be anything done soon. This was hopefully like, this is kind of stuff, right? Low-hanging fruit that just blows up in your face. Because I don't see anything else. All that other shit should have worked. So here's what I'm thinking. That I mean, that adductor is in half. It's broken in half. I think the problem is I got a broken inductor on this freaking SMD board. Yeah, I think it broke when I was... Must have been broken when I was moving the boards around. I can't think of any other way it would have broken off. I don't see any pieces, but that doesn't mean it didn't fall on the carpet or something under me. It's the only thing I could see, and it's right next to the it's right next to the RGB diodes. Yeah, I know, right? God, I can't believe this. Okay, before I start cursing at this point for no reason, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off. I appreciate the time, everybody. And I will send out an update through social media on this television because I can't fix it. I'm going to have to go try to order a part. That's probably going to take me a couple weeks to get that in. So, and then we'll see if it works. Maybe I'll come back and live stream putting it back in, and then we can install this. But you see, there's the problem, right? Okay? If you do this, you got to be prepared for something like this to happen. I mean, I am the professional and I screwed up or something. So I literally bought, I mean, think about that. You buy the TV, you buy all the parts. Thankfully, I didn't like recap this TV and lose all that. So this is the risk, man. This is why they say do it at your own risk, because it doesn't take much to blow them up. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Look for future updates on the dead FM CRT TV. First time we've killed a CRT on TV. Gotta love it.